with Congressman Bill
Posey.
Posey. Sorry, I had a long day.
My good friend was his name.
My good friend, yeah. And I was briefed on Muslims all day, so I'm a little bit... I would like to ask you, what's it like to work in the Capitol?
It's never boring. It's kind of like, it's been described as like working in Hollywood with ugly people, you know. Disney World without the rides, you know. People tend to have a love-hate relationship with the job. You love some of the things that you're able to accomplish, but you're appalled by some of the rigmarole and inefficiencies, political correctness that interferes with the ability to get stuff done. So.
Yeah, I was wondering how you could make all people happy, you know, because you got like these millions who want, you know, amnesty, and then you got these millions who say, wait a minute, we did it right and we're being punished, and then you got like 50% not paying taxes and 50% who are paying taxes. How do you keep everyone happy?
You don't try. You don't try. There's that old saying, I'm sure you've probably heard it before, that when you try to make everybody happy all the time, you end up never making anybody happy any of the time. And so when you run for office, you put out there what you stand for, what you believe in, and what you're going to try to accomplish, and how you're going to go about doing that. And so you do it. And if a majority of people back home don't like the way you do your job, you really don't want it anyway. I mean, if your bosses don't want you, you don't really want to work for them. I mean, so, you know, you just kind of stick to the principles that you've laid out. I was in local government for 10 years, was out of office for 7 years, swore I'd never run for again, promised Katie, my wife. Then she encouraged me to get back in.
Wife with dimples.
And so, you know, none of this is really new. It's just bigger, it's more intense. I tell people it's still golf. Local government's golf, state government's golf, the House and Senate's golf.
You
this
really
is golf.
play golf a lot?
No, I'm not a golfer, but I just give it the analogy of golf. You know, it's different levels, but it's still the same fundamental rules, so to speak, and, you know, same sport, same business, just different levels of it, just bigger, more intense.
Okay, I would like to ask you, what do you think is the biggest threat to America right now? Communism/socialism, which I'm feeling the government taking too much control, or Sharia law and the Islamization, or the fact that we've kicked God out of courts, schools, and now they're tearing crosses out of the military. And what's the most scary thing that's destroying America right now?
Well, all those are inextricably entwined to the decline in respect Americans have for the institution of government, for the American experiment at representative self-government, which is in jeopardy. I think the greatest imminent threat right this very moment, is the 15 billion national debt, approximately 60 trillion. I'm sorry, I just said billion.
Oh, it's okay.
15 trillion national debt, the unfunded liability for Medicare and Social Security of about 60 trillion. Those are the biggest imminent threat. The other things that you mentioned definitely are threats, no doubt about it, and there are many others as well. But
what are those?
Those are good for starters. Well, a lot of our foreign policy. You know, I think the administration helped chase Mubarak out of office, which is going to be replaced by a regime that's less friendly to the United States and less friendly to Israel.
You mean Muslim Brotherhood?
Included in the above, yeah. And you know, we put out, I guess, George Scala, my press secretary, put out a news release in June. I was asking that somebody tell us who we were supporting in Libya. Certainly Qadafi is not a nice guy, never has been a nice guy, terrorist. But since the United States dropped a bomb on his little bunker 25 years ago, the little snake has kept his head down and his mouth shut. And he has an enemy that he hates more than the United States, and that was Al-Qaeda, and Al-Qaeda hates him. And so if we're helping somebody overthrow him, and it would be his worst enemy, it might make sense that we were helping Al-Qaeda overthrow him. Never did get answered my questions, voted against that resolution. I don't like our engagement in Afghanistan, and in the last resolution the House passed, they changed now, instead of Al-Qaeda, which is destabilized, and bin Laden's dead, which is the reasons we went there, now they named the Taliban as the new enemy over there. And Taliban's never attacked America, had nothing to do with 9/11, and so I think we may have some of our views distorted, and the toll in human life and the monetary cost is excessive. I think, those are you said, what are some of the other problems that I see? And those are some of the other problems I see as imminent.
Okay. In my briefing today, I heard that we lost the Iraq and Afghanistan because in their constitution that we helped them write, it says their rule is Islamic law. What do you think about that?
Well, I think they should determine how they want to be ruled, and if they want to be ruled by Islamic law, that's their business. I mean, it's none of our business, in my opinion.
So why are we interfering? Because that's where the terrorists were breeding or something?
I think there's a lot of issues for that. There's probably a lot of people making money off this wars, and maybe some people confused, maybe some people not doing their jobs.
Who's making money off of them?
Well, I don't want to speculate.
Okay. Say what you just said. This is Obamacare.
This was the first version of the health care bill that was proposed in the House here. That's Mr. Posey's copy, and you can see he's read through it.
He actually studied it.
Took him 4 days to read this.
Took him 4 days. Okay, look, he actually, what a great congressman. He read it. Nancy Pelosi didn't read it, but Congressman Posey read it. Okay, and then what were you saying, that the one that passed?
The one that passed is actually 2 volumes, and it's about twice as thick.
Look at this.
So they made it bigger.
No accountability. That seems to be the problem with the Obama administration. Wow, that's so awesome.
The White Books are about 8 months worth of federal regulations, just from this year. Okay.
Do you have to read them all?
The Brown Books are all the laws in Florida since the beginning of Florida in in the 1880s when.
And
Florida
do you
was
read
started.
those and give him a brief?
Well, those are state laws, and these are the federal regulations. So that's all the regulation that comes out of the federal government in less than a year. And these aren't the laws that are passed, these are the regulations. So when people talk about regulation and over-regulation, that's what we're talking about.
Well, that's too much.
Exactly.
We don't need any more new laws.
Exactly.
We need less laws.
So we think when we stack them all up at the end of the year, they'll be about 12 feet tall, and that'll be about 1 year's worth of federal regulations.
Do you read them all?
There's no way anyone
Well,
can
Pelosi said,
read them.
we have to pass the bill so we can read it. So no one reads them, right?
Well, we read through them. We do read through them.
Yeah.
And that's how you find the regulations that that are the problem regulations, and you introduce legislation to repeal them or block them or.
So who wrote those? The Congress voted on them?
These are written by federal regulators and federal agencies.
Any
federal
names we
bureaucrats.
would know?
No, there's just the agencies.
Like, is one of
EPA.
those Obamacare?
Yeah, a lot of them actually are Obamacare.
Which
Actually, most
ones
of
are-
that.
Most of that is Obamacare?
Yeah, I'd say. A good
This is
chunk
what
of
I
that.
gotta say. That's what I think of Obamacare.
Okay.
We the people